Hi, welcome to Mrs. Park's Algebra 1 class. It's Chapter 3, Section 2, Solving Linear Equations by Graphing. Okay, so why? So here is a graph with orthodontic payments. I know many of you have been to orthodontist. So if you have braces, it's going to cost you a lot, or it's going to cost your parents a lot. So this is why we're learning about this. The cost of braces can vary widely. The graph shows the balance of the cost of treatments as payments are made. This is modeled by the function b equals negative 85p plus 5,100, where p represents the number of $85 payments made and b is the remaining balance. Okay, so every payment is $85. You start with here, okay, and this is the remaining balance. So it's $5,000, okay, the original balance, and then each balance it goes down by $85 slowly until you made 60 payments, and then your balance is zero. Okay, so braces they can be very costly. All right, solve by graphing. A linear function is a function for which the graph is a line. The simplest linear function is f of x equals x and is called the parent function of the family of linear functions. A family of graphs is a group of graphs with one or more similar characteristics. Okay, so this is a parent function of the family of linear functions. Okay, key concept: linear function. Remember, the word linear has the word line in it. So any kind of linear function is a line graph. Okay, straight line. And a parent function f of x is x. Type of graph, it's a line. Okay, domain, domain is everything that x is. Okay, so x can be all real numbers. Range is the y, so y can be all real numbers. The solution or root of an equation is any value that makes the equation true. Okay, a linear equation has at most one root. You can find the root of an equation by graphing its related function. To write the related function for an equation, replace 0 with f of x. So when you have a linear equation, such as this, the related function you write f of x equals 2x minus 8, or you can also write as y equals 2x minus x. So here you see f of x, it's really the y part. Okay, do you see 2x minus 8 is the same? So when you see f of x, think of it as y equals. Okay, it's the same thing. All right, so values of x for which f of x equals 0 are called zeros of the function x. So let me say that again. This, okay, are called zeros of the function f. Okay, the zero of a function is located at the x-intercept of the function. Okay, in other words, we learned when y-intercept is when x is 0. So that's what we're talking about. So x-intercept is when y is 0. Again, remember this is the same thing as y. Okay, so y equals 0 is it's at the x-intercept. Okay, the root of an equation is the value of the x-intercept. So here you have a line going through 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4. So in other words, 4 is the x-intercept of this. 4 is also called the solution of this. It's also the root of this. Okay, 0 of function x equals 2x minus 8. So you see these are all different ways of saying it. X-intercept, the solution, the root, the 0 of. Okay, they're all talking about the same point right here. Example 1. Solve an equation with one root. Solve each equation. So here's your equation. Okay, so you're solving for x. You're going to add 2 to each side, And then you're going to multiply each side by 3, and x equals 6. The solution is 6. Simple. Okay? Solve the solution, and you can solve it by graphing. So the first one we did over here is just solving algebraically. Second method, we're going to solve by graphing. Okay? So here we have 2 points. So this is like the table you did in the last section. So here's a table. You're saying x is -2 and y is 1. So let's find out what. Remember, f of x is the same thing as y. Okay, so what is y when x is -2? So you put -2 here, -2 here, and you have 3 times -2 is what we have, plus 3. Hold on. So this is actually here's the equation. Because when we make it into 0, all right, let's backtrack. So when we have this equation, we're going to make it so that all the terms on the left side equals 0. Okay, so you're going to add 2 to each side, and so you have 3x plus 3 equals 0. So now here's the equation we're solving, and when x is -2, you put -2 instead of x, and you have 3 times -2 plus 3 is -3. So now you have -2 and -3 as your point. And say goes for 1. If you put 1, 3 times 1 plus 3 is 6. So now you have 1 and 6. So here are your 2 points, -2 and -3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There's your point. And then 1, 6. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll go up here. And when you connect it, it'll make that line. So the graph intersects the x-axis at -1 right here. So the solution is -1. Okay, so we're finding for the x-axis, which is right here. Okay. All right, so here's your turn, 1a and 1b. Solve each equation. So you're just going to find out what x equals, and same for here. Okay, and come back when you're done. Okay, welcome back. Solve an equation with no solution. So here's an equation, and you solve this by, well, here you take away 1 on each side, and then you take away 3x on each side, and you came up with 6 equals 0. Okay, remember, when it's not true, this is not true, 6 does not equal 0, then there's no solution. This equation has no solution. Okay. All right, we can also prove that by graphing. Okay, so you have this equation here, and we graph it, and you come up with 2 equals 0. So graph the related function, which is function of x, f of x equals 2. The graph does not intersect the x-axis. X equals 2 goes through this line right here. Okay, so it does not meet on the x-axis, so there's no solution. There's no place where it meets on the x. Okay, so here's your turn 2a, 2b. Solve each equation, okay, and tell me if there is a solution, and if not, write no solution. Okay, welcome back. Eliminate solutions by graphing. Graphing may provide only an estimate. In these cases, solve algebraically to find the exact solution. Okay, here's a real-life example. Amusement parks. Emily is going to a local carnival. The function m equals 20 minus 0.75r represents the amount of money m she has left after r rides. Okay, m stands for money and r stands for how many rides she rode. Find the zero of this function. Describe what this value means in this context. Okay, so let's make a table. So 0 and 5 we've chosen for our r. So what is m when r is 0? So instead of r here, you can substitute with 0. and you have 20 minus 0, which is 20. And then we'll use 5. So 75 cents times 5. Take that away from 20, and you get 16.25. So 5 and 16.25. So there are the 2 points. So 0 and 20, and then 5 and 16.25. So the point should be right about here. And you connect the 2 lines, and you have a nice line. So the graph appears to intersect the r-axis by about 27. Okay, so it's about right here, 27. Okay. Next, solve algebraically to check. So you have your equation, and then we're going to solve for r. Okay. So when you take away 0.75 r on each side, and then you have 0.7 r equals 20, and then r equals 26.67. So that's about right. So roughly about 27. So that means since Emily cannot ride part of a ride, she can ride 26 rides before she will run out of money. Okay, so she can't ride 26 and a little bit more than that. It's either 26 rides or 27 rides. So she can only ride 26 rides. All right, here's your turn number 3, financial literacy. So go ahead and do number 3. See if you can make up a graph. And then you're going to find out when the 0 is. So you're going to solve for 0 and find out what x is. Okay. And then when you solve for 0 and then find out what x is, tell me what it means. What does it mean? Okay. So go ahead and do number 3. And you are done for tonight. So that's all of tonight's homework. So when you're done, make sure you put this in your book bag and get credit for your homework. Thanks for watching.